Hello, hello. What's up? What's up? It is a new day, it is a new week, and it's time to get social. My name is Kayvana, and welcome to the Introvert's Social Hour. Hello, hello. What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Introvert Social Hour. Today, we are talking about summer reads, okay? When it comes to the summertime, for me as a reader, I'm always thinking about, ooh, what can I read next? I'm giving more summer vibe reading, like, maybe it's like a little cute little beach read or something. And so this time around, we're specifically talking about what we're excited for this summer of 2024 and what's on our reading list. When I say our, I'm bringing my friend Summer on to talk about our summer reading list. um, if you listen to the podcast, Summer's been here before. We've talked about our favorite books already, and we've also talked about Summer and her boyfriend James. And Summer has also been on talking about books again this year already. So Summer is a continued guest and a fan fave of me from me personally as well. But also to listeners out there. So please welcome Summer again to the podcast. Woo woo.
Thank you so much. I love being here, and I love that every time that I'm on here, I'm mainly talking about books. It's very funny.
It's on brand though. I feel like when it comes to how our friendship developed even more, that was where we kind of like really clicked. I remember like we knew each other, but when we started finding out that we read, we were like,
Oh
"What?"
my gosh. It was like something clicked. We were
hmm
already like right here, same level, and now
hmm
just even more so. So I'm so excited.
Yeah, seriously. So I was like, it just makes sense. When I think of like books, it's you and Sabrina, the first two people I think of because another thing for the readers, not readers, to the listeners to know, if they don't listen to the Introvert Social Hour that much, is that we're pretty on in sync with our reading styles. So I'm gonna just give you a note now, listeners, if you don't like romance, if you don't like fantasy, I don't know. We have some other stuff, but it's gonna be a lot of that. Because I know there's some people who, I mean, no shade, but there's people out there who don't like romance. I'm like, why not? It's fun.
It is
It's okay.
fun.
It's okay. But I did have two questions for you as kind of like icebreakers, in a way. I am curious to know what is one book you recently finished and what is one book you're reading right now?
Okay. I was ready for this question.
Mhm.
And surprisingly, I think this is going to be our first podcast where our tastes and reading lists diverge because
Ooh.
right now I'm on a huge fan fiction kick.
Okay.
I'm like devouring fan
Mhm.
fiction right now. Um and these are long. These are, the same size
Yeah.
as books and I count them as books for my reading
Mhm.
tracking and stuff.
Yeah.
One that I recently finished is called Best Mates and Blind Dates, and it's on AO3. It's
Okay.
a Draco and Hermione Harry Potter fan fiction.
Got you. Okay. I was gonna ask.
Yeah,
Okay.
I finished that last night. I started
Okay.
it 2 days ago.
I was just you already know I was about
I've
to ask. Okay.
it's been I've been steadily reading like 3 to 5 fan fiction per week.
Okay.
And I'm going hard. I'm actually running out of ones that sound interesting. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's one that I finished
Wow.
recently.
And then what did you start another book? I know you said you just finished it yesterday,
Yeah,
but
I started another
is it
Hermione
another
fan
germ
fiction.
okay, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
So when it comes to your reading goal, I can't remember if we had talked about this on the previous like book tropes episode, but what is your reading goal for this year and then where are you at now out of curiosity?
I wanted to do a book a week, so 52. I rounded it down to
Mm.
50.
Okay.
Um, wow, this fan fiction thing has really reignited my like reading sprints. And
Yeah.
Kivana, these are not short. You know how the average book is like 100,000 words?
Mhm.
Just for people listening, that's like the average word count. For really like thickies, like if you're talking like Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, those are like
Yeah.
200,000, 250,000 words, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
These fics are like 2 to 400,000 words.
Not the
They
400.
are, these are thicky. I haven't read a
Hmm.
400,000 one in a while. I think the longest one was like
Right.
300,000 in the last month. And then a lot of them skirt the 150,000, which is like a book. So
Okay.
I've been keeping track and
Mhm.
I'm on Germani only. This is none of the other books that I've read in the year. I read 26. I read 26
Wow.
Germani fan fictions over
Mhm.
100K words.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a
Yeah.
lot,
I know. And then
man.
if you count in like published novels, I would
Mhm.
say I'm at like maybe 10.
Okay.
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Halfway through the year.
I would say reading is reading at this point. Like
I
whatever
agree.
brings you joy to like read it. And as long as you're counting it, for me it was always like even when I would like read Wattpad books, I'd be like, how can I log this on Goodreads?
Yeah.
So but no, reading is reading. I want to ask you this question and it's gonna tie us into talking officially about our reading lists for the summer.
Ooh.
Um, what is one book that you are excited to read next?
Ooh. I I'm excited to read this book and it's the second book in the series, but I haven't even read the
Mm.
first one. So,
Wait,
it's
okay,
in
you're
like
more
highly
okay.
anticipated. So,
Got you.
I know you've read the first book, Powerless by Lauren Roberts. You know how
On my
Reckless is
list.
I
I
know
haven't,
Reckless is
yeah, I
coming
haven't read it.
out in 1 month.
Okay. I haven't read the first one. It's on my list though. I know. It's on my
You
list
haven't read
summer.
it?
No, not yet.
That's
I
how
have a
you
lot
know
of
our
books to
tastes are the
read.
same. I know,
I
that's how you know
know.
our tastes are the same though. They're on our TBRs.
No, seriously, yeah. Okay, that's good to know. But no, I didn't know people have been saying it's good.
I
And it's been on my
know.
list for a minute. It's been on my list for a minute.
Mine
So
too.
it's gonna get read at some point. Um, for me, I'll update you on. I realized I threw up questions at you and I didn't give answers on my end. Um, so one book I finished recently was oh my gosh, what am I gonna blank? Business or Pleasure by I'm trying to look at it on my thing. Rachel. Ooh, I might be wrong on that one. Sorry about the name. I think it's Rachel something. But Business or Pleasure, that one was kind of it was all right. It
Okay.
wasn't like, it was cute, but there's cuter ones, but it was cute. Like, I'm gonna keep it. It wasn't like, oh, I didn't like it.
Mhm.
Um, and then I'm currently reading, I just started today, Renegades by Marissa Meyer.
Ooh, we love Marissa
Mm-hmm.
Meyer.
Sponsored by the New York City Public Library. So
Nice.
I wanted to give them a shout out because the NYC is playing with their library systems right now. So go support your New York City library so they don't shut them down on the weekends and other times of the day. And then one I'm excited for, um, to be honest, it's interesting. Powerless is one that I've been really excited for, but I also have been trying not to start series that aren't finished because I have a lot of those. I own a
Mhm.
lot of fantasy books right now that are the first of a series and I just my mic and then we're waiting for the rest of them. But I will say one is I have Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. It's been in my hands for a very long time, so I'm excited to officially read that at some point too.
You have to let me know how Renegades is.
Yes, I will.
Because for me, for those of you who don't know, Marissa Meyer wrote the Lunar Chronicles back when
Hmm.
we were, super young, like Cinder, Scarlet Crest. I love that series.
Yeah,
So,
I will definitely let you know. I read her oh my gosh, what was it called? Heart.
Heartless?
It was Heartless, right? Am I
Hmm.
tripping? Okay.
Yeah.
I read Heartless. I It was all right. I think I wasn't a fan of like her writing style 100% for Heartless specifically. It felt very slow. But
Oh.
what's so interesting about that is Renegades is like we're coming in strong. So I'm very interested. First 20 pages I'm in so far. So I'll definitely keep you updated. Um,
Nice.
but let's move on. So we have some summer reads. We read year round anyways. But I did want to see if we had like specific reads that we wanted to plan out for our June, July, August. If we wanted to kind of design our reading to the time of the year and the sunny vibes, and if we had locations that we wanted to read our books in, etc., to have the kind of romanticize your life moment.
Yeah.
Um, so I want to know, what are some of your, let's do the top five first. What are some of your top books on your reading list for this summer?
Okay. So the way that I interpreted this, when I
Mhm.
hear like summer reads, I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, she wants me to make a list of like The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lawrence, like
Yeah.
vacation-esque books.
Hmm.
And yeah, like you said, we read throughout the year, so I'm not even paying attention to that. I could be reading
Hmm.
like high fantasy on a beach somewhere, and it would just
Seriously.
be the same vibe. Yeah.
Hmm.
So one that I really want to read is Chalice of the Gods by Rick Riordan. I don't
Ooh,
know. Yeah, it just
Percy,
came.
right?
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah.
It's like a continuation. It's like the
Hmm.
sixth book
Yeah.
in Percy and the Olympians. And so I'm so excited for that one. I
Mhm.
will say I probably need to reread Heroes of Olympus,
Okay.
but someone told me that I don't need to. I can just like jump right into it.
Hmm.
So maybe I'll reread the first five before I do it. Definitely
Okay.
top reads. I've been waiting for that forever. Percy Jackson was one of my first like book boyfriends,
Hmm.
you know? And so that's definitely top one for me. What about
Okay.
you?
Well, first up, before I go into that, I'm surprised you hadn't read it yet. Because
Yeah,
while it's new, it's been out for a minute, Summer, for you.
Is I know
Yeah.
for me, I've
Uh-huh.
been I'm telling you, this fanfiction kick, I can't get rid of it, Kayla.
You're stuck.
Every time. And for me, the way that I see it is if I'm like this excited about reading fan fiction, I'm going to indulge. I am going to read as
Right.
much as I can, as much as I want. But
Especially if it's
Chalice of the
quality.
Gods, yeah, published books, it's right on up there.
Yeah. So we got Percy. For me, so I do, because I am like in this, like I love, as a teacher, I have that summer off. So I like this idea of like trying to romanticize my life a little bit. So I'm like, ooh, what's a good book to read in the park? Ooh, what's a good book to read on the beach? Just to be extra for a bit. Obviously, though, I'm not gonna read a whole bunch of like summer specific like reads, but I do want to throw in a few just for funsies for me to just kind of catch that vibe. Also, they're books that have been on my list for a while, and I just haven't gotten there yet. I've already read The Unhoneymooners, by the way.
Me too.
But in connection with that, to stay on that summer topic before I throw it everything else off, um, I don't know which one. You tell me. I feel like you or Sabrina have told me the answer. There's two summary vibes here. Same author. Beach read or people we meet on vacation.
Oh, Emily Henry.
Yes.
Mm,
And I feel like Sabrina would tell me people we meet on vacation.
you
I
should
think
read
that's
people.
what she's told me. And so you
Mhm.
agree with this? So
I
then
do
that's
agree
my
with that
vote.
one.
That's my vote
Yeah.
then.
I was gonna ask you if you've
Mhm.
read Funny Story by Emily Henry, because that one
Not
is her most
yet.
recent, and I
It's on my
haven't
list.
started. It's on my list too.
Yeah, see? So it's like it's just all of them. It's on my list. I didn't want to pack up my whole summer with Emily Henry.
Me too.
So I didn't want that. It's because her and Allie been popping out the books. Allie
Oh yeah,
Hazelwood.
Allie Hazelwood has a
She
new
just
one.
dropped.
It's like Not in Love or something like that, right?
I have it written down here. Yeah, not no, sorry. Yeah, Not in Love. Yeah. It
Yeah,
just came
yeah,
out like this week or last week. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, they would just be throwing the books out there. So I was like, I can't stack them up like because my book list for them just keeps getting longer. But I was like, I'll prioritize the ones that have already been out. Funny Story will come at some point, but let me prioritize like one of the summer vibe ones for the summer. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
See, there we go. But yes, Funny Story is on my list though. Um, okay. What's your second one?
I have okay, so this one is on my list, but okay, it being on my list, I can just tell that I'm not gonna get to it because when I
What?
put it on my list a week ago, I was
Uh-huh.
like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna devour that." A week later, I've lost interest. and it's the
Really?
I know it's called The Burnout by Sophie Kinsella.
I know that name.
Yeah, she
What?
wrote like the Shopaholic series, and
Ah, got it. Yes.
yeah, and I saw it come through. I think I was like scrolling on Amazon or something, and I saw
Mhm,
the title, and I was like, "Oh, what is that?" And it sounds so interesting. It's like
mhm.
two like burnt out professionals like take a vacation and they like meet each other on like a
Okay.
beach or like a destination wherever. And I was
Mhm.
like, wow, this will be great to put on my summer reads. And I'm doing a podcast with Kmana, so I'll put it on my list. Now, I will say you are right. I don't want to pile my reading list with Emily Henry or
Mhm.
Allie just
Mhm.
because they're not really I love series. I like reading
Mm.
series. I love like established things. I just finished like The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. You know,
Hey,
I'm
yes.
still like we'll talk about that too.
Yeah.
So, I'm still in that mindset. So I don't foresee my nice.
Yeah.
She just showed me the physical book, everyone.
Yeah.
I don't foresee myself like reading the one-shot rom-coms anytime
Mhm.
soon. Maybe in July, definitely not in
Oh.
June.
Oh, this is where we differ.
Yeah, not in
Because
June.
I do get tired of a series. Like not tired of, but like it can be mentally draining. And I've seen if you're on Book Talk, I know you agree with me. I've seen some book talkers say like after you finish a fantasy, then they go to a little small one-shot rom-com
Yeah,
for
a
a
little
second.
filler. Yeah.
That's where I'm at because right now I'm not in fantasy series mode right now. So
Mhm.
I've been actually just been reading. We're friends on Storygraph. You're gonna see a lot of very short, one quick rom-coms. Not even some of them aren't even rom-coms. I read my first dark romance. I don't know if it's for me.
I
I
know
was like, I don't know
you
if it's
you totally said that to either you said that to someone or you messaged me
for
because
me.
I think I saw on Storygraph that you read
I
your
think you
first.
saw it because this was recent and we haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
haven't.
But I read it because it was they were like TikTok. They were like, "This is the best book I've read." The relationship. I said, "Oh, okay."
Can I ask which one it was?
Still beating by oh my gosh, I got you. But so let me listen.
Is it like a mafia? Is it like dark
No, girl.
academia?
It was
Is it
dark, but I pushed through to get to like the end line. So
like haunting Adeline? Like is it a killer? Like
I don't even
serial killer?
know what Hunting Adeline's about, but I know it's also dark romance. So it's a kidnapping. Two
Okay.
people get who don't like each other get kidnapped, and
Mhm.
there's a lot of unfortunate things that happen. Um, I don't want to have to say anything for like trigger warning purposes and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and then eventually they have to like build off of their trauma together after surviving well, yeah, they survive. That should be pretty obvious. I don't think that's a
Uh,
spoiler. Surviving that situation, figuring it out together. I think for me, I don't want to read it, but I understand the purpose of the storyline and I could see it as a movie because I've
yeah.
seen like movies exist like that. But for me, when I was reading, I was like, this is hard. But after I read it, I was like, well, this is a good story. I just personally that's why it's hard to label as dark romance because I would label it kind of like drama, like,
Yeah.
things like that. But I understand where I was coming from. But for me, I personally have a hard time reading like difficult stories because like I read for escapism. I want the happy fluffy,
Mhm.
and if there's ridiculous three-fourth breakups happening, it's not that deep. Which is
Yeah.
why I don't really read dramas and things like that. Um, on occasion I do, but yeah, but I found out after I read it, it was labeled as a dark romance. And I was like, oh, I guess I read my first one. I was like,
Dang. Okay,
um,
okay.
but I so like if you do like dark romance and you're listening to this, I would recommend it. If you don't, it is a hard read, but I think as a piece of material, it was written very well as far as I I was able to understand where everything was going after all the traumatic things had happened and understand why the characters were doing what they were doing because it made sense psychologically as a person who studied that in college how everything was going down. Um yeah, it was wild. It was wild. But it did have a
Okay.
happy ending. So
Yeah.
that's why it's still a romance. I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry, I threw us off topic.
No,
Um
no, that's good.
what were we talking about?
Top
Um
fives.
we're already doing it. Um, so I'll give you my number two then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I this is gonna be a throw off for a second, but I've decided I want to read a classic, at
Like
least one
what?
classic this year, and it's going to
Like
Pride
what
and
though?
Prejudice.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yes. Have you
Yeah.
never read that? Like reread?
Never.
What do you mean?
Never.
What do you? Whoa.
Never.
The movie?
So I've watched the movie,
Okay.
but you
It
know,
is very different. Jane Austen is a wonderful writer, writes everything differently.
see, so that's why I was like, I feel like I should experience it as a reader.
You're
But
gonna like
I
that
know the
one.
story, but I don't know
Yeah.
the depths of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very, very pining. Love that. I love a slow
Mm-hmm.
burn.
Right? I was like, I feel like I'll appreciate that. So
Yeah.
at some point, I got my edition from Five Below,
Nice.
book shopping on a budget, and
Nice.
at some point we'll get to it. But that's my number two, which was
Okay.
probably a rare situation there. But what about you for your number three?
Okay. Let me bust out my 345
Okay,
so
go ahead.
that
Three,
you
four,
can,
five.
yeah. Yeah. I have this one has been on my list forever, but it's
Mm,
called Tweet Cute by Emma Lord. And
I've
I haven't
seen this.
I know I have it on my bookshelf
Mm,
and I need to I'm pretty sure two like teenagers get into like a Twitter battle or something online
got it. Okay.
and shenanigans unfold. So I'm excited for that one. I'm finally gonna get around to it.
Mm,
You know, some things are on my TBR for years and it takes me a while,
see,
but I do get there.
right?
Funny story. So I guess I toss that in there.
Okay.
And then I know I said I wasn't gonna put like Emily Henry and Allie on my list, but
Mm,
not in love
in love.
is the fifth on my list.
Her.
Yeah. Cause I will say, I will admit, I have not read Bride. I know.
This is my
But
shooketh sound.
hey,
What?
I read Omegaverse stuff all the time.
It's well, so here's the thing.
And shift
I didn't know nothing about it.
I know.
Sabrina and Nicole were like, don't look it up. I was like, um, I just wanted to read a werewolf story
Mm,
because there are not many of them. Like we have vampires, obviously like Ashes of this, oh my gosh, me and
Stark.
this Starker's King, yes. We get like vampires. We don't really get angels that much, but I do have Fall and the Wrath of Ruin by Jennifer on my shelf. But
Okay.
she just started that though. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, werewolves. I liked it. And it's not a series. And I know you like series, but if you want like a one stop
I still
like
like, yeah.
fantasy, highly
It gives the
recommend. It was
vibe. It
fun.
still gives the vibe. I
It was
like
a
it.
fun read. Yeah, it gave very I say wet
Mhm.
Pattian vibes, but it's one of those fun reads that you don't need to take seriously. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I honestly don't have plans to read it at all, but I know it will always be there.
Sure.
I know it will always be there.
Why
Because for me, you're
not?
saying like, oh, I feel like there's not a lot. There are a lot, Kivana. They are just more intense than that. So,
Oh, LOL.
so I think that if I'm ever in the mood for something like that, I know it's there, but it's not
Okay.
actively on my list like that. I'm not like, okay, I'm gonna get around to it, you know?
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right.
Yeah.
It's okay. One day.
One day, one day.
Um, 345 for me. So, Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer.
Ooh, let me know how
Um,
that is.
but for sure, I'm excited because it seems very funny. Like, I feel like we say rom-com, but sometimes romances aren't really very calm, depending.
Mhm.
So, like, I feel like this one's actually going to be it's action, rom, and calm. I feel like that's very much what it is. It gives kind of like goofy. Um, I didn't write the title down, but I have the book right here. Um, The Weight of Blood.
Whoa, switching it up.
Yeah, I had to say, but just quick switch. It's kind of based off of kind of like a retelling in a way of Carrie, The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. I did get it, and I'm very intrigued. It plays a bit off of like race as well in regards
Hmm.
to like also the Carrie connection with that, like still bullying, but like how race plays a part in that. Um, and I'm very intrigued how it rolls out, but it's The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. And then my third one, um, once again, still trying to mix it up a bit. Um, but I will say I'm a rom-com lover at heart, and what's on my list is The Soulmate Equation because it's for by
Ooh,
Christina Lauren.
yeah.
So I've just been really excited. It's been on my list for a very long time. So I'm excited to finally like get to it, and I hope it doesn't disappoint me.
That one actually hasn't been on my list, but I loved the Unhoneymooners.
I
I
know,
like,
because you're the reason why I read it.
dude, oh yeah, really?
Hmm.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah, I remember reading it spring quarter of my second year of college, and it just like I was in such like a okay time in my life that reading it just made me feel so happy. I do remember recommending that book to like lots of people. So that's good.
Yeah, I was one of them. Yeah, but no, that I found out this year or within the last year that Christina Lauren is two people. So if you didn't know that,
What?
now you know. Yeah. Wait, you didn't know that
No,
either?
I didn't.
Yeah, it's Christina Lauren. They're two friends who write books together. I did not know that. Sabrina
That
told
could
me.
be us.
Right?
Summer
Well,
Kivana.
we're
Kivana
gonna need
Summer.
I'm gonna need another ELA person up in here. Just for another lit major. But I think I can do it. I think I can. I just need the ELA background a little bit more.
Oh my
I,
gosh, I did
but
not.
yeah.
If you
Hmm.
look them up, it's a picture of two people.
Yes. When you thought you was like, yeah, sure, Kivana.
Christina Lauren, the combined pen name of Christina Hobbs and
Yes.
Lauren Billings.
Uh-huh. I would have
They're
never
allowed to
guessed.
do that? They're allowed to.
Yes. Wait, what?
I
How do we? Yes. Don't you? So, did you ever read? Sorry, we're gonna have to stop again, but I'm saying this real quick. Did you ever read the vampire series by PC Cast?
I know who PC Cast is. Wait,
So, PC Cast,
you're about to mess me up right now.
yeah,
What?
that her and her daughter wrote those books together. What is that series called? I used to be stuck in it, and then
Show
she wrote too
Art
many.
House of Night and Other World
Oh,
series.
there we go. So, yeah, I know her and her mom,
Wow.
or her
Wow,
and her
wow.
daughter wrote it together. And
Wow.
I knew that from the beginning, but yes. So I was kind of shook with Christina Lauren because I haven't heard of someone doing that since then.
In a long time, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Um, okay. I am curious about books that we're excited for that are getting released. So, I Not in Love has already been released. But I did want to share a few that I know about that are coming up.
Give it
Um,
to me.
in the summer, actually. It didn't have to be the summer, but here's a few. So I read this year Dead Romantics, and I also read The 7 Year Slip, by both by Ashley Poston. One thing she knows how to do is write a rom-com because she does have comedic moments in it too, so I'm gonna call it a rom-com. And then also tear at your heartstrings.
Mm.
In both books that I've read by her, they're just like they tell life stories on top of it. Like I could read it and get like a little life reminder, life lesson from it. So she is dropping a novel love story on June 25th. And that is basically
Ooh.
about like um to not really say too much because I want you to like look at it. Listeners, I want you to go search it up. But like the main character ends up being put in a story in a book somehow magically so, and it's supposed to be able to fix whatever is happening wrong. The story is going wrong in the book, and then the guy that's in the book is trying to stop her from fixing it, and I'll leave it at that.
You, I, okay, that's so exciting. You hooked me because I didn't know that she was releasing another
Hmm.
book. And I can't believe that you have not read her fangirl like series, her a lexicon series so
No.
far.
I think it's too
Geekarella,
late for me.
it's not too
I feel like I'm
late.
not really, when you like get older and you're like, that doesn't really catch my attention anymore. Like I feel like if I would have read it when I was like younger, but now I'm
Hmm.
like I want to actually feel a little bit more connected.
Didn't you read Once Upon a Broken Heart or not yet? Because you didn't
Not
finish Caraval.
yet. Well,
Girl,
that's
I'm
the
telling
thing.
you,
I was
just
gonna
read them.
jump right in. I was gonna jump right into
Do
Once
it.
Upon a Broken Heart. Yeah. But I do have
It gives
Caraval's been sitting on my list for almost 2 years.
Caraval's bit. I tried. I think I got to like maybe chapter 10 of the first
Hmm.
book, but I devoured. I think this was the last time we had a conversation for our last like book podcast. I
Hmm.
devoured the entire trilogy in under 48 hours. It was so good.
I remember you said that.
I ate that baby up. So
I
yeah.
know.
But
I
it gives like not similar vibes, but I
Mhm.
think Ashley's books kind of give that vibe. They're like rom-commy, they're nice. I know the
Mhm.
Geekarella stuff more like high school because that's when I read
Yeah.
it, but
Mhm.
yeah.
Have you read The 7 Year Slip?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
that's
And
a
then have you
really
read Dead
good one.
Romantics?
I have not read it. No, I have not.
Dead Romantics is a good time. You should read it.
Should I? Let
Yeah.
me put it down.
Hmm. Just because The 7 Year Slip had me crying.
It had a lot of
Eh,
people.
Yeah, and then
People
Dead
love that one.
Romantics. Luckily enough, I knew what to expect now because I read Dead Romantics second. Um, to her list of books, and I was like, I know it's coming. Like nobody, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it was a nice little reminder of life and things. She's really good at that. She just really eats that up. Aside from the romance too. But is there what book is coming out that you're excited about? Are you trying to switch up the genres? What are you
I was gonna
doing?
say, I swear I thought Onyx Storm was gonna be released this year. It is not.
Girl, no.
I know, 2025.
That is next
Time,
year. She said
time,
January.
time is distorted for me, okay? I just,
Valid.
yeah.
When did you think it was
Um,
coming out?
like August, September, like
Oh, you definitely
October.
tried it summer.
Okay, no, listen. For those who were around in
Mhm.
2023 when it blew up, I was around when Fourth Wing came out
Mhm.
in February.
Oh no,
Okay.
not me.
We
Okay.
we also did a book talk on it. And I was like,
Yes.
I have it on my bookshelf. And you were like, I knew you were gonna read it. It was like a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? The second book, Iron Flame, released later that year. So tell me why the turnaround is over a
Mm-hmm.
year
Yeah, no,
for
I
this
already
third
knew.
book.
I already knew. We got the first two too quick back to back.
It's too
And
quick.
on
I
top of
agree.
that, there were issues with the second release because it was such a
Yeah.
quick turnaround. So I already
Mm-hmm.
knew. I was like, mm-mm. And I remember when she dropped, I haven't forgotten the date. I was like, I'm gonna have to wait. She said January 2025. I said, all right, Rebecca, we're in here waiting.
It is January 2025. You're right.
Yeah. Because it's that one I'm waiting for, and I'm waiting for the third book of the Legendborn series.
Oh, is that coming
Mhm.
out this year?
2025. Mm-mm.
Oh.
She made us wait too. She gave us the same situation. Gave us the
Mm-hmm.
two books pretty close to each other, and then we're waiting. But now instead of it being a trilogy, it's a quad.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
will be honest, this year for 2024, I don't have like a highly anticipated book that's like on my list.
Dang.
Because usually I do. Like last year
Hmm.
it was Iron Flame. I was reading
Yeah.
other things. Um, but in general, I was just like so excited about it. This
Hmm.
year, I think I'm really playing catch up
Valid.
and I'm like loving my fan fiction life.
Yeah.
My biggest anticipated releases are honestly manga. And I know you don't read manga,
Yeah.
so that could
Hmm.
switch it up. So, the chapters get released like every week or like every month. And
Okay.
so those are consistent things that I'm excited for. So yeah.
Her. Okay. Do you have a rec to give to the listeners out there?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
for people who are probably new to manga, there's a new anime out right now
Mm-hmm.
called Kaiju number 8. and it's really good. It's action targeted
Okay.
towards, people who like action storyline.
Mhm,
Um, and there's a manga out to go with it. So
mhm,
that would be a really good choice. Jujutsu Kaisen it's called Sorcery Fight if you translate it to English, but
mhm,
Jujutsu Kaisen is a really popular anime. Their manga is so, so, so good.
mhm.
Releases every week. Wonderful. Has me crying, bawling my eyes out. Main character can't catch a break, man. It
Oh,
really sucks for
man.
them. But
Dang.
I eat that baby up. So,
I
so
love
yeah.
that. I had no idea mangas came out every week, first off, or like every that frequently.
If they're like
Yeah.
popular licensed one, yeah, every week and then
Mhm.
every month for surezies if they're consistent.
Yeah.
If the author's like independent, maybe every couple of months depending on their
Mhm.
editor. Yeah.
Wow. You learn something new every day. Shook it.
Yep.
Man. Um, well, to fill in, then I'll give you the other two books that are on my list that I'm intrigued by. We talked about one of the authors already, but Tangled Up in You by Christina Lauren. They are dropping another novel. Um, and then on top of that, I don't know if you've heard of Julie Soto. I believe that's how you pronounce it.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. Have you read Forget Me Not by Julie Soto? Is that
it's
the one?
sitting up there. It's on my also
She does have a
to
new
read
book
list.
coming out. This
Hmm
is a great segue. Finish what you were saying. I'm sorry I'm
Okay. No, you're
interrupting.
good. Not Another Love Story. Or not, sorry, Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto. And I like it because it's a nice concept of like two musicians. I feel like when it comes to like rom-com world, we always get the editor, the
Mhm.
publisher, the wedding event planner. Like we always get the same things. So getting a musician is nice and I'm excited for that.
Okay.
But yes, Forget Me Not, she gave us like a flower shop owner and
Florist, yeah.
yeah, there we go, a florist and still a planner. The other person was a planner, but like still like change it up a bit. What were you gonna
I
say to connect it?
I was gonna say, fun fact,
Okay.
Julie Soto started her career as a Germani fan fiction author. She is
Oh.
one of the most like like visited and read authors on
Hmm.
AO3 for Germani fan fiction. And I'm
Wow.
so glad that you brought her up
Hmm.
because I've been reading her for like so long. And I remember she was like, I'm a published author in like 2023. So that's how I
Hmm.
know about Forget Me Not.
So she's
And
fresh.
she's fresh, fresh. And
Oh wow.
if you want to read her fan fictions, they're
Hmm.
really good. There's one that's similar. Actually, let me see. It's not similar to Forget Me Not, but she wrote
Okay.
a Hermione fan fiction that's similar to the 90s movie You've Got Mail with Tom Hanks.
Got it. Okay.
You remember that
Hmm.
one?
Hmm.
Where Draco and Hermione are both like shop owners,
Okay.
but they're also like pen pals online and they don't realize that it's each other.
Okay.
But they like hate each other in real life, obviously, and they have like
Yeah.
competing storefronts.
Mm.
Um, I just read that one by her. It's so cute. But
That's that sounds fun. I feel like
yeah.
I've seen that's a I don't know what you would call that at this point because there's a lot of layers to that. Um that trope. I don't even know if it would be a singular trope, but like the whole we we don't know that we're talking to each other, but we don't like each other in person kind of vibe. Because I've seen a few different books like that. The Neighbor Favor, I forgot the author. Um, it's not that they don't like each other necessarily, but they have talked to each other and never seen each other in person. I don't know what that trope is necessarily. Because it's
I
not
don't
miscommunication. I don't know.
secret identity, you think?
There would have to be
It's
something in regards to them talking to each other, right? So like
yeah.
unknown communicator. I don't know.
There's if you like stories like that, I'm looking on my Audible right now. I
Mhm.
totally remember reading one where it's like a landlord
Okay.
and someone like messages her and she realizes it's like someone in her apartment building, but he doesn't know who it is. He thought
Hmm.
he was like texting his sister or something, and then he starts like
Mm.
chatting her up. Oh my
Hmm.
gosh, it was so cute. I loved it. I'm gonna look that up and I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you.
When you find
You
it,
would
let me
like it.
know.
You would like it. It's really cute.
It sounds up my speed. I have been trying to find like shorter reads too. When I say short, I mean like avoiding like the 400, 500 pages, which are usually ending up in like the cutesy romance section. Um, and that's
Would
just for
you
right now.
would you consider
Mhm,
would you consider fan
mhm.
fiction? I know I'm pitching it a lot
I
this
know you.
call.
No, you listen. You are the number one communicator for it. No, I for me it's just because I like Harry Potter. I don't know if I like it enough to do a fan fiction for it. Now, did I dabble in AO3 at some point? And this was before I even knew AO3 was this like big thing. I just
Mhm.
stumbled upon it. Um, because I was like looking for I had come across some Charmed fanfic, specifically for the recent Charmed for oh my gosh, what is his name? Macy and my homeboy. I forgot his name. But I literally just found it because I wanted to see their story complete because she spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't watched, she gets killed off because the character leaves the show. Not the character, the actress leaves the
Wait,
show.
wait, in the reboot for Charmed?
Hmm.
Oh
The sister was gone
wow.
again. The sister was gone again.
Wow.
Um, Charmed has a bad history with that, but yeah, so I was like, I want to find some cute little stories that complete the rest of their love story because they didn't get to finish it properly. Um, but no, I think I would. It would have to be stories that I'm people like characters that I am actually a little bit more interested in though.
Yeah.
But I do
That's
know Dramini is
yeah.
right. Dramini's very popular.
If
Yeah.
you ever want to just I know people who have never even read the books
Hmm.
and they are obsessed with Draco and Hermione fan fiction. You don't, yeah, you
Really?
honestly don't need to be like a huge pothead
Mhm.
for it. But I think the one that kicked me off this year, it was called Draco Malfoy and the Mortifying Ordeal of Being in Love.
That's a good title though.
They got
Hmm.
me. I saw it
That was a
on
good title.
TikTok and I was like, damn, you really got me right now.
Yeah.
And I
No, that's a
stayed
good title.
up for 4 days straight reading it. And it was so good.
The times. The funny part is I think at this point I can't even stay up to read. Like my body just like go to sleep.
You're a teacher. It makes
I
sense. It's
know, that's
fine.
true.
I
My
did
energy be
find,
gone.
I did find to push us back to published books.
Hmm.
Um, that book that I was talking about is called Sweet Talk.
Sweet Talk. By who?
Yeah.
So I can make sure.
Sweet Talk by Kara Bestone
Kara with a K or a C?
with a C.
Kara B.
Okay, this one is different because I think it's like an Audible only. It's like an
Oh,
Audible
really?
original book.
Okay.
And the way that they tell it, Kivana, you're
Mhm.
not like reading a book. They're like reading a script.
Got you. So it's like multiple people.
Yeah, it's like it's multiple people and there's no like, what are you doing? She said. I'm
Mm,
eating out, he said. It's like,
yeah.
what are you doing? I'm eating out right now. Like it feels
Yeah.
like a really nice audible performance. So yeah.
Okay. That makes sense because they have been doing that a lot lately. Like those audible stories. Okay. Good to know. I wrote it down. One that popped in my head that I've read that I wanted to share out. This was a recent read. I read it before Still Beating, and I found out it's Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. Um, but before Still Beating, I read Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco. Um,
Mm.
and she wrote the what is that one? Stalking Jack the Ripper series. I never read
Oh,
it.
me either.
Um, and then she also wrote the Kingdom of the Wicked series. Um, and apparently the Kingdom of the Wicked series is connected to Throne of the Fallen, but I was able to read it as a standalone and understand the world without having to read the series before.
Oh, it's probably like a companion. Because
Yeah. And I think she's gonna still build on the world, kind of like what oh my gosh, my homegirl Carissa is doing with her series.
Six
But
Scorch Roses.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I think I was able to read it and not have to like search up stuff and be confused.
Okay.
So for people listening out there who do like fantasy romance and don't want to start a whole series, I feel like that was a good one. I actually really enjoyed it. It is a thickie. It's about 500 plus pages. That's why I was like, I'm not in the
Huh.
500-page world right now because I literally just finished one not that long ago. Um, but I highly recommend that one for a fun read. It is like enemies to lover. I love enemies to lovers. So,
Yeah.
I had to put that one out there. But I did want to go into real quick, like we talked a bit about like the summer vibe of it all. Like some people like specific places they read. Some people just like just curl me up on a couch or like, I'm just reading in my bed, etc. Um, what is like where are some of your ideal reading environments in general? And then like if you do have any summer specific ones, I am curious as well.
Okay. That's great. So we're talking like location.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have been a couch potato for the last month. I
Valid.
love crawling up in like my couch to just read either on my Kindle or my phone.
Mm.
Um, if I'm on my Kindle or my phone, I also like reading in bed, like in the
Yeah.
mornings or before bed. But if I'm reading like a physical book or if it's like the middle of the day and it's nice outside, I'm
Mm.
in a really nice apartment complex and I have a pool like right next to
Oh, see.
my apartment. So
Mm.
I like going out there if I think that my book won't get sun damaged. That's like one of my biggest fears. It won't get sun damaged and there's no kids splashing around to possibly water damage it.
That too, yeah.
Yeah, that's the closest I will get to a beach environment on a daily basis, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried to bring books to like the beach before. I'm going to San Diego next week.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried. It's too like hot. It's too bright. I get sand everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if I'm reading on my phone heats up because it's like it's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
So I will say I am a homebody. So I
Mm.
like being like in shelter.
Mm.
But my favorite is either the couch and if it's like a nice day by the pool.
Okay. I like
Yeah.
those. And that's realistic as well because in my mind I want to be the beach girly who reads as well, but I
Mhm.
also feel like sand first off. I don't really go in the water that much, so water damage was a concern of mine. But I also didn't even think of like sun damage. Like, come on, Kavana. Um, and then also like park. I'm in New York, so there's a lot of parks. There's a lot of options there. I have tried to read in the park before, but I do get distracted quite easily. So and you got to be on your toes too, just like being aware. I feel like I can't really fully, go into a book when I'm outside in the world like that.
I've
Um,
tr
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I've tried like doing like the cafe thing as well. Like in a coffee shop, I'm reading
Hmm.
a book. And the
Yeah.
entire time I'm just like, my couch is more comfortable than this chair.
Hmm.
Because I'm not like reading in a cafe for people to look at me, right? So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, if I don't like the environment, I'm just gonna go home. So yeah.
Exactly. Um, I will say I used to do it a lot more. I was trying to start warming back into it again, but the subway because like
The
what else am I
subway.
doing? Yeah, yeah. I read on the subway. But not so here's the thing. I think you're assuming something. I don't take my physical books.
Okay.
I was like, hold up. I
My
used to do
face
that.
right now, my face right now, I'm like,
Hmm.
in the
In the
subway.
in the very beginnings, I used to do that. I have book covers. I have like little book holders. But even then, I realized like I would take my book and there'd be times where I didn't read it and I felt like I was just wasting like
Space.
like you wasting space, low key kind of beating it up no matter how much I tried to protect it. For me, low key beating it up because I like my books to be kind of very precise. And so I stopped doing that. Today was the first time in a long time I brought a book on the subway with me, and it was Renegades. It's a hardcover. It's from the library, so it's got extra coverage and protection on it. And whoever had it before me beat it up already. So, um, but no, I wouldn't take my paperbacks for sure. No, and if I did, I would put it in my book covers, which I do. I do that when I'm traveling and I know I'm gonna go on an airplane or something. That's different.
Hmm.
But yes, I agree. My bed or my couch are pretty much the main spaces. I tend to flip between the two if I'm in like a reading zone for the day. Because sometimes I get all crunchy, like I'm on my bed and I'm like, I've been in like I keep flipping and especially if you're reading on your phone. It's kind of hard to find those like comfortable reading positions. You don't want to be like crouched up either all the time. Which is why I don't always sit on my couch too, because that just automatically gives you that curved C spine.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, those are my go-tos. I do want to read for the summer. I want to read more so in the park a little bit more, kind of like
Okay.
challenge that. There's always quieter spaces I can find and stuff. I just think my brain's always running. So that's always the thing. Um, but out of curiosity too, like when you read, do you have like moments where you're like, okay, like let me set up. I got, snacks over here, or like, because I know some people like they set up they get their highlighters. I don't think you are that person because we've never talked about it, but I know like people have like they got to get their stuff set up in order to get into their reading session. Do you have any like things you do?
I used to tab my books. When I was like 14, I
Mm-hmm.
would tab like a page. It's nothing like you see now.
Oh
Like when you
yeah, that's
see like
intense.
those tab girlies on TikTok
Mm-hmm.
and they annotate everything. They have a color for everything. I used to just like put a sticky note in pages where I've cried. And in some
Oh.
books, and in some books, they're like, "Oh my gosh, what did they do to you?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I know." But now, um, I find I'm pretty sure you don't do that either because you read for escapism, and I
Mm-hmm.
also read for escapism.
Yeah.
I don't even set up like that. I'm just like, okay, blanket, curl up on couch, don't bother me for 6 hours,
Yeah.
right? And for
Mm-hmm.
me, I'm a very expressive reader when I'm alone. I'm screaming. I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to the characters. I'm like, "Why'd you just do that?" Now I'm
See?
embarrassed. Yeah, secondhand
Right.
embarrassment.
When you put the book
Secondhand
down, when you put the book down, you're
That's
like, ah,
embarrassing. Oh my
yeah.
gosh. Yeah, secondhand embarrassment, definitely that girly.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to take a lap. I've had to,
See, some are the same. I literally think about times I'll be on my bed, laying down on my phone. Something happens, puts the phone down, finally gets up out of bed, walks around for a second. Let me get a snack now because I need to
Yeah,
process
let
what
me
just
drink some
happened.
water. I'm dehydrated. Like,
Right.
is the character giving me a headache or am I dehydrated?
Seriously. That's
Yeah.
so real. That's
So for my
hilarious.
setup, I will never snack if I'm using a physical book
Same.
because I also want my books to be very pristine. I want to look, I don't even want to look like I have a library.
You cut off. Okay,
Oh my
sorry,
gosh,
hold
I
on.
cut off.
Can you
What?
can you say restart and I'll edit it? I don't even want it to look like I have a library.
I don't even want it to look like I have a library because libraries got some beat up books. I
That's
want my
true.
books to look like they're brand new, hot off the presses,
Mhm.
and they're like pristine. So I will never snack. I will never snack with a
Yeah.
real book. On my phone though, the best I'll do is like, no, I'm not really a snacker either. So my
Okay.
best setup is like maybe a blanket and water.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I only snack if I'm actually like hungry. I don't, it doesn't need to be a part of my like book tradition. Sometimes, like you said, like I just get reading. Sometimes I didn't even plan to read. Like I'm swiping on, like literally the time I'm swiping on TikTok and they're like, "Oh, this book is good." I'm like, "I'm not reading a book right now." Sure. Find it somewhere, you know? So I don't really have any like setups, but I know some people do. Like some people are really like, I don't want to say intense, because I'm not trying to judge, but it is intense for me. It looks like there's a lot going on there. For me, I just kind of read for fun. I still track, and I have my numbers of how many books I'm gonna read and things like that. Um, and I know there's some people who don't track anything at all, so maybe I read for fun, but on a little bit more of a specific scale. But I'm not like annotating or things like that. Sometimes if I'm reading on my Kindle Unlimited or like Apple Books or something, I'll highlight stuff just so I can remember
Mhm.
to look back on it.
Or
But
I'll like
never a physical
screenshot.
copy.
I'll like screenshot stuff to be like, gotta show Kayvana this.
Right? So yeah, mhm.
Gotta show her I got to this part.
See? It's like, "Look at
But
this."
you are better than me regarding tracking your books. Because for me right
Mm.
now, the fan fiction is easy. I just like bookmark it when I finish
Mhm.
reading something.
Yeah.
I need to update my story graph. I know I've never been good with Goodreads. You
Ooh,
know that.
see? So
So,
your story graph isn't updated summer?
no, it's not, girl. No, no, it's not.
Mm-mm-mm. Well, one day you will. Well, I don't even know because 'cause you're doing fanfic. So,
I heard that some of them are on like Goodreads or some are on Storygraph.
okay.
I have not tried.
Mhm.
Um, but I know that there can be like problems for that because, in the fan fiction community, everyone's doing it because they want to do it, right? Like
Yeah.
you you don't want to get it too big. Like there's some discourse happening right now about like book binding, you
Yeah.
know, people binding up books and like selling them on Etsy. The moment like
Yeah.
there's monetary exchange, you're like begging for a lawsuit and you're like ruining it for the
Mhm.
fan fiction community. I know that's happening with like Manacled right now, which is the most popular
Oh.
Hermione fan fiction,
Mhm.
which I have not read because it is very dark.
Yeah.
Too dark for me right now. But yeah.
Yeah. Now that I'm like, people be reading them back to back like this? I'd be shook.
There's
I don't
so
know.
there's so many cute ones, Kivana. Draco Malfoy and the mortifying ordeal of being in love.
I was talking about the
Me.
dark romances.
Oh
I
yeah,
know I,
yeah, okay.
I understand the fanfics though. I get it.
Yeah.
I
There's
just
dark.
for me, you know, it's not of
Yeah.
my interest personally for like that story. But if I find some I don't know what fanfics I would look for, but if I found them, I'd be like, yeah, tell me more about like th- these characters in a different world. I think that's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Or hey, some of them are like so different from their canon that you don't even need to
Mm,
you would just enjoy the plot,
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Because even if I don't remember reading Harry Potter. I've read them. I don't
Hmm.
remember reading Harry Potter, and at this point, I've read way more fan fiction than the actual Harry Potter. So,
Mm,
yeah, you never know.
yeah. That's
This
so
is
true.
not me pressuring you. It's just at the forefront of my mind right now.
No, I know. You like you're very ecstatic and excited
I
about it, so I totally
know. I
understand.
know.
Um, before we wrap it up, I'm just putting out a reminder to for the listeners out there to make sure you do read. Reading is good, even if it's 15 minutes a day. And once again, like I said, doesn't have to be romance, doesn't have to be fantasy. Even if you love reading like nonfiction, I need to read more nonfiction. And if you're somebody who does read a lot and your TBR is long, start getting to it. Stop buying books. This is a note for me as well. If you're looking at those books on your shelves, you better start reading them. Stop buying more on top of that. Um, and to wrap it up, I just want to throw out some books that I didn't get to mention, but are on my list purely because I own them and I need to start getting them and start reading them. So Forget Me Not by Julie Soto was one of them. Drunk in Love by Jasmine Guillory. The Soulmate Equation, Christina Lauren. I said that. 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. I also have many others on that list, and the list just keeps getting longer. But in regards to nonfiction, I have Everything is Effed. That's by Mark Manson and so forth, so on. Some of these books I've had on my shelf for over about 2 years. So it's time. Yeah, so that's why I was like, look at your list, look at your bookshelf out there, and stick with me on this summer journey as we try to clear off our bookshelf with these reads. But with that being said, thank you so much, Summer, for always joining a book conversation. They're always fun, per usual.
Of course. I can't wait. I know I'm gonna be back.
Oh
I
yes,
can't
you're
wait.
it's like I already know I'm gonna be back. You don't even have to ask. Yeah. For sure, for sure. Maybe we'll talk about like holiday themed ones. That'd be really fun.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
like Halloween and even like holiday December time. So, because I have that's a separate list on its own. So we're not even gonna get there
Yes.
yet. Those are on hold right now. Um, but thank you, listeners, for hopping in on this podcast. Thank you for listening to the Introvert Social Hour. Make sure you share, like, and follow this podcast. Send it to a friend, a family member, a loved one. Follow me at Kayvon on Instagram and at the Introvert Social Hour on TikTok. The TikTok is popping off these days, team. So really get in there because I've made a goal to post at least once every day, different topics. I'm talking about books, just like I talk about in the podcast. I talk about various different things, whether it's books, TV shows, movies. I even talk about Legos now because I'm a Lego girly, talking about all the hobbies and things that just catch my interest, music, etc. So go check it out. Follow me, help me grow, help me get to that 10K. Let me get some extra coins, Try to help me out there. So just make sure you follow TikTok more specifically than Instagram. And then Summer, can you shout out your TikTok too? Because Summer be on TikTok.
I'm not on TikTok like that, but you can follow me at Summers Reads on TikTok. That's where I do all my bookish things. Once again, I am on a fan fiction kick, so I'm so sorry if you're looking at those videos, but I do other ones too, relatable bookish stuff. So excited to see you on there.
Make sure you go follow Summer. With that being said, get some sunshine, get some air, have an amazing week, and I will see you next week on the Introvert Social Hour. Thanks for joining. Bye.